Welcome to the WrestleTalk News. I'm Quinnell. Last night's AEW Dynamite was the go-home show for Full Gear 2023, which Ollie will have a review of here shortly. It also saw the inaugural Like a Dragon street fight. Inaugural because I assume it's now going to be a regular thing. Please tell me it's going to be a regular thing, TK. And while the match was insane and stupid and wonderful, there was a very near miss before the match even began. Chris Jericho entered first for the babyface team, followed by the Golden Lovers. But during Kenny Omega's pyro display, one of the pyrotechnics whizzed right by Jericho, and after one of them seemed to even catch him a little, he glanced down at his arm. Jericho then confirmed on X after the show that yes, that firework did in fact burn his arm. Luckily, this wasn't more severe and we could have had another Undertaker in the Elimination Chamber situation. Crispy Taker. But you know, it's fine. AEW have had issues with pyro in the past, but we can always rely on them for awesome match graphics that are never wrong. Well, Dax Hardwood, eh? That's it's quite the typo. I'm not gonna make any jokes about Hardwood. I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna make any jokes about it. Hardwood? Elsewhere in AEW, the Devil storyline has continued to pick up, with MJF on this show promising to kick their ass once he finds out who it is. But who actually is this masked attacker? Speculation online has been pointing in a more can you imagine sort of way in the direction of CM Punk being the Devil, which would be one hell of a work if so. And Fightful Select has backed this up, reporting that several sources reached out to Fightful to confirm that the people who are under the masks are actually the people who will be revealed to be the assailants in due time, including the Devil himself. Several people within the company reportedly know of the identities of the people, but they have done a good job of keeping it quiet. And Fightful also confirmed that yes, the Devil has not been played by CM Punk thus far, so chances are not him. The sources that spoke to Fightful added that it would be a huge work on those in the know within AEW itself if it was Punk that was revealed as the Devil, which seems unlikely in the grand scheme of things. Elsewhere, reported back in September, was a legal dispute between WWE and Panini, the company responsible for WWE trading cards. WWE had terminated the contract between the companies due to an alleged breach of said contract, to which Panini responded by suing WWE. But now, new court documents indicate that the two sides have come to a settlement agreement in principle after the past couple of months of settlement proposals were exchanged between Nick Khan and two Panini executives. According to House of Wrestling, this resolution is being put into writing, which will mark an end to the lawsuit. And now, over to Ollie.
Man, I wish this book went behind the curtain and showed me all the fascinating aspects of wrestling we fans don't get to see in the ring.
I know what Tempest's thinking. He's thinking he wishes his book took a deep dive into some of wrestling's biggest controversies, giving insight into the murkier side of the sport we know and love.
I know that look in Pete's eyes. He's keen to know more about the ongoing controversy of unionization in wrestling. And his right eye is even more keen to delve into the issues that have shaped the modern pro wrestling landscape.
Man, Tempest is really staring at me. Wait, maybe he's wishing his book critiqued wrestling's institutions and was more of a testament to those who fight not just inside the ring, but outside the ring too.
Huh. I wish I could read.
Gentlemen.
God?
What? No, guys, it's me, Dave Bradshaw, the voice of British wrestling and, nay, the world. I've been listening to your internal monologues, and I think I have the answer to all your prayers.
Told you he was God.
Get WrestleTalk's brand new book, Wrestling Unmasked, straight from the pages of WrestleTalk magazine. Wrestling Unmasked is a must-read for all wrestling fans. Head on over to Amazon to pick up your copy now by clicking on the link in the video description below and prepare for your understanding of the wrestling world to be turned upside down.
Luke, your book is upside down. Never mind.
It's Thursday! You know what that means! My review of the Full Gear Go Home episode of AEW Dynamite in about 5 minutes. After a brief recap of the Acclaimed being taken out by Retribution, I mean, CM Punk? Mystery Devil, man! The show started on Orange Cassidy and Hook attacking Jon Moxley and Wheeler Yuta during their entrances for the opening tag match. That was a tactical error, as violent crowd brawling is very much the Blackpool Combat Club's domain. Cassidy got taken out, leaving Hook fighting by himself. After a max recovery hot tag, Cassidy later used one of the biggest weapons in his arsenal, the Orange Punch, hitting Moxley square on his jaw. But Mox appears to be a bastard-type Pokemon. It wasn't very effective. Mox totally no-sold the punch, but not in that it didn't hurt undermining way, in an Ishii, I'm so freaking tough, I can fight through that incredible pain kind of way. Cassidy almost recoiled in shock horror, letting Yuta pin Hook to further their rivalry too. Mox screamed afterwards, he's going to grind Orange into dust. Although that would be squash Mox, you grind an orange into squash, and become international champion again at Full Gear. The most effective go-home segment of the show came next though, where Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland went face-to-face in the ring, where they'd be suspended for the rest of the year if they got physical with each other. More than making up for the weak follow-up to the initial angle, Hangman started his promo at 11 and went up from there. Swerve got fired 2 years ago from WWE. His fiancée left him. His kids won't speak to him. Prince Nana buys weed from high school kids, which led to one of the best go-home lines in wrestling history. I'm gonna beat your ass and take your weed. Swerve didn't get a single word in, as badass smart babyface Hangman pointed out the condition was he couldn't lay a finger on Strickland. It didn't say anything about Prince Nana, so Hangman proceeded to indeed beat his ass and, I presume, take his weed, while Swerve couldn't do anything to stop him. This was a fantastic performance from Page, and just like WrestleDream, their feud has again become my most anticipated match of a pay-per-view. Roderick Strong called Adam Cole to say MJF is the devil backstage. Combat sport was then distilled into its purest form next. The color red versus the color blue. Sky Blue and Red Velvet had a very decent match, exceeding expectations. Unfortunately, Sky Blue's Code Red, that's a confusing color scheme, was botched for the finish. Sky Blue will join Julia Hart going for Chris Statlander's TBS title at Full Gear. Miro promised to beat the crap out of Daniel Garcia because he's annoyed with his wife. Mariah May fawned over her idol Tony Storm in La La Land backstage. I keep having this recurring nightmare where I wake up and I'm suddenly in the ring and Samoa Joe's walking down and I know I haven't had an entrance. Samoa Joe squashed John Cruz, which included the greatest doop reaction to a Joe walkaway spot we've ever seen. Joe extended his tag team offer again to MJF in a post-match promo. We need someone to put on an exciting match that will get over with a live crowd even though they haven't had a proper storyline in years, and is somehow still credible despite being beaten all the time. Enter Penta! Commander seamlessly subbed in for a non-medically cleared Rey Fenix, somewhat protecting the Lucha Non-Blood Bros in defeat against the Young Bucks in a terrific match. The Young Bucks here being Young Bucks Prime, because after a lengthy, somewhat one-dimensional babyface run, the Bucks are fully fledged heels again, having their high spot cake and eating it. Their moves are cheered like babyfaces, but we all still know they're heels. You might say they're tweeners. There was a loud "This is awesome" chant after Commander ran off the top turnbuckle onto Penta's shoulders and hit a double DDT on the Jacksons, but Nick hit both luchadors with low blow kicks to the dicks, a Judas elbow to increase their Jericho heat, and a BTE trigger to win. This felt like 2019 level Bucks, which I hope their heel turn means more of. They had a brief pull apart with Jericho and Omega backstage afterwards. The Guns squashed Peter Avalon and Jacoby Watts, building their MJF ROH tag title match. Wardlow said he'll make the devil his bitch. He was talking about MJF, but there's that other, more literal devil he could be referring to too. Brought to you by Like a Dragon, the Don Callis family, with special guest Brian Cage, took on the Golden Jericho Lovers in an awesome street fight. Just like the Bucks being heel, this felt like the best of AEW from a more innocently fun time, before the backstage drama and ratings dips and 100 very important Tony Khan announcements. Cage, arguably the Callis family's MVP, suplexed Omega off the second rope through 2 tables outside. Powerhouse Hobbs was gaffer taped to the ring. Even Ibushi, now officially All Elite, recaptured his puckish Agent of Chaos spirit, riding a bicycle down to the ring and hitting a brainbuster on it. You could say that's when the match found a new gear. Paul White was a concern going in, given how much difficulty he seems to have moving around. But they booked around his limitations effectively, having people run to him, creating the illusion of movement, and one of the opening spots being him chokeslamming Carl Fletcher off the stage through a table. I'm pretty sure they killed Big Show though, when Hobbs hit a very impressive but also super ugly power slam off some crates onto the hood of a car. Well, that's a big bump. Omega got the win over Cage with a one-winged angel. There was still 10 minutes left for this show though, which were reserved for MJF cutting a promo on how he can't outrun his past, potentially implying the Devil is a past wronged opponent. CM Punk is the Devil confirmed. I know they said he's not, but confirmed. There were no big revelations or angles here like other weeks, just Jay White awesomely saying he's got 2 words for Max: get him. Prompting a gang bang gang beatdown on a now friendless MJF, but it was still an effective go-home sell, especially with Samoa Joe watching on backstage. The bigger angle will perhaps take place on Friday night's Collision. This week's Dynamite is 85%. Go subscribe to the WrestleTalk podcast channel for our full gear predictions up to date, and while you're waiting, go watch us count down the 10 worst AEW pay-per-view matches of all time.